Hey guys, I'm gonna do a little bit different video today. It's a little bit geeky, a little bit girly, and that's who I am, and I don't think those two things have to be mutually exclusive. So I am going to do an eye look with a new palette that I got, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about Star Wars The Last Jedi. So if you don't like makeup and you don't like spoilers, probably don't want to watch this, but if you like geeky things, you like girly things, and you've seen The Last Jedi, and you don't mind watching me put on some eye makeup, go ahead and keep watching. I am wearing a Justice League t-shirt today. I have my little Funko Pops down here. I have all my Masters of the Universe, and then I have some of my Last Jedi guys right here. So I've got Finn, Rey, Luke, and of course, Leia. So what I wanted to do is show you a palette that I got for Christmas. Now, I was not going to buy this palette. I saw it when it like maybe a month after it came out, and I was like, I saw it and I was like, meh, meh, meh. And then my sister got it for me for Christmas, and then I opened it up and I was kind of like, meh, meh, and then I tried it and blew me away. I love it and I can't stop using it, and it's amazing. So that is the Star Wars The Last Jedi light side palette from Cargo Cosmetics. Here is the front, and of course it's all shiny. So I have the original box. They sell two of these. This is the light side, has the same rebel symbol, two little A-wings there, and just this cool like design. Star Wars, Cargo Cosmetics, and then just this eyeshadow palette there. So on the back they have it has 8 shades, and they're all named after episodes, and then it has a little thing about a little guideline about how to use them if you don't know how to use eyeshadow. So then we have the palette. Now there is a dark side palette. I believe the light side palette, this was like the last one they had at the Kohl's that my sister went to, she told me, and she wanted me to have the light side palette as opposed to the dark side palette. And I've looked at the shades in the dark side palette, and I'm not really digging them, but you can, again, they have a little thing on the back just telling you the names of the shades, which aren't really names, they're just episode names. Actually, they're just Roman numerals, but I call them episode 1, 2 because I'm a nerd. And again, they're just a little like guideline about how to use them. So you can open that up, and it actually says The Last Jedi on there, which is nice. And then you open it up, and there's a really cool mirror in there. And as you can see my setup back there. So I'll just turn this. We'll do it this way. So as you can see, it has a sort of glitter background on the cardboard packaging, and then there are all the shades going from episode 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to episode 8, which is really nice. As you can see, this packaging is going to get very, very dirty because the shadows are pretty powdery. At least some of them are, or they're a little bit looser. And then you'll get a little bit of, stuff all over them, and it's not really that easy to clean. So you can tell here it's really nice and galaxy shiny, really cool, and then it looks like this after like a month of use, so that's fine. So I did do swatches of these. I will insert a picture here. They are swatches done over my eye primer, and they're done with a brush, and I just brushed them until I felt like I had enough pigment to be representative of what I felt they looked like on the eyes, or should look like on the eyes, as opposed to in the palette. But these are all pretty neutral shades. I have used every single one of them, and I like more of them than others. I really like this one just as a base. It's just a whitish, not really, it's a matte pretty much. Then you have this one, which this shade really confused me when I first got it, because I tried to use it as like, oh, it's shiny, so I'll use it as an inner corner highlight, and it didn't really do anything. I thought it would be really brightening, and it was just kind of like, So I tried it with some Fix Plus, and then that sort of changed my mind about it a little bit, and then after I swatched it on my arm, I really sort of understood this shade. It just looks like nothing in the pan, but it's a really pretty, almost rose gold on the skin. So, and then you have episode 3, which is my absolute favorite shade in this palette. It's a beautiful peachy color. I know it's the most red color in here because I assume because it's episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And it just reminds me actually of it just reminds me of Princess Leia's makeup in episode 4 actually, which is why I keep thinking that it's episode 4, but it's not. And it's that really almost like 70s light reddish color. Like, it's beautiful. I love it on the eye. I just put it all over the eye because I don't care. Then you have this darker maroon shade, which is good for a crease. You've got lighter maroon shade. This is a matte brownish maroon. Then you have a light matte brown, and then you have a dark matte brown. And this one is actually really, it doesn't look like much in the pan, but it actually looks really, really dark. I've already done my foundation and my eyebrows, and then so now I'm going to prime my eyes and show you how I have done one look with this. I've done a couple different looks with this. Some are lighter than others. This is probably like the most heavy look that I would do with this palette. So I'm going to clip my hair back. This is my little Wonder Woman sword clip from Hot Topic. So I just put that in my hair to keep my bangs out of my face. It looks really weird, but it does work. So, and then I have like a mirror over here. So if I keep looking over there, that's why, because I'm putting stuff on my eye. I'm not gonna show you like the whole thing of like mascara and everything else. I'm just gonna do that off camera later. So we're gonna do my favorite look from the Last Jedi palette. And to start off, I'm just gonna use my Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer. It's just a regular primer. It's $4.99 at CVS, and I absolutely love it. It keeps my shadow on all day. Not gonna lie, all day. Not that I'm doing anything more strenuously all day at work than just, you know, sitting around staring at a computer. But I do walk back and forth to work. So even before I get to work, I've got the full effects of, like, if it's 104 degrees and like 99% humidity, or if it's like 10 degrees below zero with a negative 25-degree wind chill. And my makeup stays on through all of that. Well, my eyeshadow does. My mascara and my liner don't always survive the 20-minute walk, but. And it just feels really nice. So I have this Chanel No. 2 shadow brush, and I'm just going to start with episode 1, this nice matte, almost slightly pearly shade. And as you can see, it does kick up a bit of powder, which I'm fine with. It's almost like the Anastasia shadows, which I love. And this is really my first time using Cargo Cosmetics. I've always been sort of interested and yet confused by them. Because when I was in college, they had their own store on the pedestrian mall downtown. And so they were sort of seen as really high-end, and now they're sold at Kohl's, which, I mean, it's not high-end, but it's not exactly Sephora either. So, but from this palette, I really do love the quality of them, so. That is the base laid down. To set the primer, and then I'm going to take my IT Cosmetics fluffy crease brush, and I'm going to go in with the dark brown shade. This one does not kick up as much product, but you do have to be careful with it. And I just put it right in my crease. And then I just deepen it up until I feel like it's deep enough. So I went to go see The Last Jedi on the Monday after it opened. Somehow managed to avoid spoilers by just staying off the internet entirely, pretty much. And not gonna lie, I am a Star Wars fangirl, and I cried. I cried twice at two specific scenes, so spoilers. The first time I cried was when Leia got blown out into space. Because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I kept waiting because I didn't know what was going to happen to her because Carrie Fisher died, and then I didn't know if they were going to end it for her in this one or what they were going to do with episode 9 because they said they're not going to do a CGI Leia. So I just kept waiting, and then all of a sudden the TIE fighters come out, because you have that moment with Kylo not pressing the button, and then the two TIE fighters come out, and you see Carrie Fisher get blown out into space, and I wasn't ready. And she, of course, sits there and freezes in space, and then her hand comes out, and she finally, for the first time, uses the Force and saves herself. And I cried like a little baby. I know everybody's like, oh, it's Superman, it's so corny, the effects are so bad. I don't care. It was the first time that she really ever used the Force besides just getting like a feeling. And I was so happy in that moment that she wasn't dead. And I just, tears. So that was the first time I cried. Let's see what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna take this little like pencil brush. I don't even know what, I think this is like a Sephora brush, really old. And I'm gonna go into this dark, it's sort of a, if you look really close at it, it's got glitter in it. It's almost got like a bluish glitter in it, but it's like a deep maroon shade, so I'm just gonna put that like down here, sort of soften or just change the color of the crease a little bit. Again, pretty powdery, so you gotta be careful with it, but so I was pretty much an emotional wreck after that scene. And then of course, you know, I just enjoyed the whole movie. I read I read most of the books, like the EU books when they were out in the, I read the Thrawn trilogy and quite a few of the books and some of the comics, and I didn't really play many of the games. So I liked the expanded universe, but I don't know, it wasn't, I'm just kind of willing to let Disney do whatever it wants to do with Star Wars right now. I think I've sort of reached an age where I have more perspective on being a Star Wars fan. Like, trust me, as a Star Wars fan, I know we are some of the most entitled, annoying fans in the world. But also, I'm a woman, so I understand that fandom can be really demanding and really hypercritical about stupid things. And so, you know, and Star Wars has always been, since the 70s, Star Wars has always been about licensing and making money and, you know, just being fun. And so I take it in that spirit. I grew up in the 80s. My favorite of the original trilogy is Return of the Jedi. Lambast me in the comments if you want. It's my favorite. I love Ewoks. I love speeder bikes. I love Luke in his black outfit, which may explain why I did like this movie a lot. I don't feel like I should have to explain why I like this movie. I feel like it's a good movie. So that brings me to my second part where I cried, which is when Luke comes out on Crate. And he looks like Luke from Return of the Jedi. He's wearing the same belt. I mean, he's got, you know, he's got the cape on, and he's a little bit older, and he's got the beard, but he's Luke from Return of the Jedi. Except he's got, you know, the blue lightsaber. And That's probably deep enough. And, you know, as much as some people are really divided about the, I'm fine with it. It's fine. It fits old man Luke. It really does. I do like that Luke is a lot more grumpy and, I don't know, just a little bit cynical and a little bit broken. Because, you know, in the old expanded universe, he was a very stoic, he was a Jedi, he was the Jedi Master, and you never really got to, like, his core. But I think just seeing Mark Hamill go out and play Luke Skywalker again and just be that combination of almost sassy Mark Hamill, I mean, it's a character, it's not Mark Hamill, but that sort of sassy thing that he does on Twitter, you know, versus the very, like, traditional Luke Skywalker. His head is always off in the horizon, and it was just that part made me cry. Just seeing him standing there after 30 years, and Return of the Jedi being my favorite, and I don't know, I loved it. So, and then of course the appearance by Yoda, just randomly Yoda, like in the last third of the movie, I was like, why? Like, that was a really cool surprise, just really really cool surprise, and that I really enjoyed. And then I love Porgs. Porgs are awesome. Not as cool as Ewoks. I love my Wicket. Wicket rules. But the Porgs were so cute. The milk thing, a little disturbing, but it wasn't as gross as everybody made it out to be. And then, I would say the third time, if I hadn't already run out of tears, the third time I would have cried was when Finn and Rey finally found each other and they had that long hug at the end, and it was just so good, because Finn, and you know, he's been waiting for Rey. She's his first ever, well, I suppose besides Poe, she's his very first, you know, friend, the person he trusts the most, and that was just so sweet. I was a little surprised by, I felt like Finn was a little underused, which seems odd because he's in like half the movie, but I felt like I loved him and Rose, and I love that interaction, but I just felt like he yeah, I don't know, I loved his character, but something about it it hadn't progressed enough. Although, to be honest, he's still finding his way. This is right after The Force Awakens, and he's still finding his way, and I'm just waiting for Finn to get over that hump of, like, I need to get away from the First Order. I want him to be the hero that he really can be. So, and then I didn't really mind the whole Poe thing. I thought that was fine. I thought the whole idea of Leia and Holdo being generals and vice admirals and being able to wear a ball gun at the same time, that, as a woman, that to me is just awesome. And they don't have to explain it, and they don't have to explain themselves to Poe. They make the decisions because they know what they're doing. And eventually we all found out that Holdo was right anyway, and if Finn hadn't been betrayed by DJ, everything would have been fine. But, you know, men screw things up, like usual. Just kidding. Just kidding. Not really. So this is episode 3. It's a nice matte peachy shade, and I'm just going to put that packet all over the lid. This is just an e.l.f. brush. e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. You can get it for 99 cents at Target. And it is a gorgeous. This shade is amazing. I love it so much. Love it. Just want it all over my lid. All over. So yeah, I walked away from that movie with a lot of feelings. And that's the thing about a Star Wars movie for me, is that I usually I know it's good if I walk away from it and I think about it. And I thought about this one for a long time. And I still think about it. And it still makes me cry. And I have to go see it again. I haven't. I don't know why I haven't. But It was amazing. I liked that it was different, and I liked that it was also in tradition with some of the older movies. And it was goofy, and it taunted the fanboys a little bit, which, not gonna lie, made me a little bit happy. And yeah, I liked it. Call me a fangirl. I don't care. Be mean to me in the comments. I don't care. I've been a fan for a long time, so I think I've earned the right to say what I want about Star Wars. So, let's see. Now we're going to take a little, not a little, it's a long pencil brush. And this is like a Royal and Langnickel, which I got in a BoxyCharm a couple years ago. I don't get BoxyCharm anymore. And I'm going to take that rose gold shade, which was the one that really confused me before, and I'm just going to put that in the inner corner. And you really got to sort of pack it to see the impact, at least on my eyes, because I got, you know, I got those hooded eyes. So, I'm going to put that in there. So let me know what you thought about The Last Jedi. Be nice. Did you like it? Did it ruin your childhood? You know. Like I said, at this point, I'm old enough that I'm just willing to allow Disney to do whatever it wants to do with the movies. The original trilogy I grew up with, as, you know, I grew up in the 80s, and that was, those were my favorite movies, and, you know, I was old enough to not be, I mean, I was old enough to be disappointed, but not heartbroken by the prequels. Like, it was Lucas, and Lucas was doing what he wanted, and fine, whatever. And it wasn't Luke and Leia, which are the, you know, the characters that I was attached to. It was, you know, characters you were sort of getting to know. And I've never been sort of an Imperial fangirl. I know people who love Empire Strikes Back, and they're really into Empire porn and, you know, that kind of thing. I've never been that kind of person, so to me, you know, I wanted to see how Anakin became Darth Vader, and it was sort of disappointing, but ultimately I wasn't enraged by it. I can take or leave the prequels, to be honest. I mean, I could still watch episode 2 and just fast forward through all this stuff on Naboo. So yeah, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you think about this palette. I mean, it's pretty basic palette. It's, you know, cool. Well, I think it's cool tone. I think that one's actually pretty warm, but it's just a basic neutral palette with some mattes and some glitters. Nothing really like, ooh, it just blew my mind. It's like the Modern Renaissance palette or whatever. But, you know, for someone like me, I have a couple of palettes, and then this is something that I can get a lot of use of because I don't have this color, I don't have this color, I can use this color, I can use these colors, and I can get a lot of just nice neutral looks out of it, or I can get some really strong looks out of it. So let me know what you think about this palette, and if you've tried it, or if you've used the Dark Side palette. So I'm going to go put on. I'm going to go do my lashes. I don't wear lashes, but I'm going to put some mascara and some liner on and some concealer, and then I will come back and finish this up. Okay guys, well, I've got everything else on except for my last lip product. For my lips, I have started out with the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink in Amazonian. And then I am going to top it off with an older lipstick. This was from the CoverGirl The Force Awakens collection. They came out with that ridiculous collection of lipsticks and nail polishes, and it was just a really weird collection. And when I looked at that, I was like, that's stupid, I'm not going to buy that. And then I bought like 5 of them on sale, so whatever. It's really like, smells like cotton candy, and I'm not about the smell, but this is a really nice shade. This is number 70. They don't have names. It's just a nice rose gold, but you really don't see it unless you put it on top of something. Just gives a nice whatever to the lips. Nice little shine. It kind of tones down that Super Stay matte ink. And so this is the finished look, as long as you take out the hair clip. So that's it. I just set everything with the Maybelline setting spray. I didn't use powder except for under my eyes. And so that is this look. And using the Star Wars The Last Jedi Light Side palette. Cargo Cosmetics did come out with a few other things. They came out with like 3 or 4 compacts, which were just mirrors, and they were supposed to come out with liners. I don't know if they ever came out with those, and then some other things, but most people that I've seen have usually just gotten this for either Christmas or something. So I figured if you got this for Christmas and you weren't sure what to do with it, I would just give you a way to use it. And you can use this for really, really subtle looks too. You just don't, I go in really hard with my eyeshadows. If I'm going to wear color, I'm gonna wear color. And I have hooded eyes, so I have to use a little bit more than normal, because otherwise it just sort of hides back there. So that is my thoughts on this palette and on the movie. If you have anything to say below, let me know. I know this is a bit of a different video. If you're a dude and you're like, why is a makeup video showing up in my channel? Sorry about that, or not. But I just wanted to do something different, and hopefully people like it. Or I'll just get like 2 views, and that'll be fine too. Alright guys, thank you for watching, thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!